We are ready to get this one going, and we promise to bring you hit after hit after hit. So make that leap to your favorite spot and join the club. Chris the Cardinal has Sportsnight is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sportsnight. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And Joe, another quick show, a fast show. And fast,
full,
lot to do. Full show. Correct.
A lot of stuff to talk about. And
yep.
The weather finally turning around. It's feeling like spring out there for the most part. End of last week, not so much.
This week's going to be great.
This week it's going to be a beautiful week, and most of the sports able to endure and persevere through some bad playing weather last week.
Yeah, so they're going to get everything in that they have this week. When I was doing my weather logs for the week, and it's going to be beautiful.
All right. Well, we'll start with the baseball team. They actually, last week's game against Blaine was moved from Tuesday to Wednesday due to the Denny McNulty funeral. The Cardinals ended up trading in for some worse weather, but it was worth it, and it was the right thing to do. Coon Rapids continues to struggle from the plate, but they're making up for it. Whether it was the weather or the emotion, the Cardinals' pitching and defense was flying high and carried them to victory over the Bengals. No score as we pick it up on the bottom of the fifth. Jake Hansen gets Sam Riola to chase the high cheese, one of 7 strikeouts in the game. Started cold and damp, but the rain picks up in the 6th, and so does the offense. Cardinals only had 4 hits in the ballgame, but this is the big one. John Olsen to the gap, one of his 2 doubles in the game. Jake Hansen isn't hesitating a bit. He's going to score all the way from first. Turned out it was all the help he needed on the scoreboard. Hansen was sharp from the hill. He gets Reed Connolly chasing this one low to end the 6th. He only allowed 3 hits through 6 innings. Gets some help from his defense in the 7th. Leadoff man with a shot toward the gap. Robert Morissette, a diving catch in the grass. Webb gem and a downpour. Bengals threatening runners in 2nd and 3rd with 2 out. Cordy Duff with a high hopper back to Hansen. He gets the assist on the final out. Jake Hansen, a 5-hit shutout to give the Cardinals a 1-0 win. And you see the rain coming down. Yeah. They played through it. So
a nice win. And again, you like those kinds of wins. You like to score some more runs and get the support, but good pitching, good defense, they'll take the win.
And that's kind of what they're living on right now. Their next outing against Andover, you can't get much better than a 5-hit shutout, but how about a 1-hit shutout for Ray Wellner?
Nice job, Ray.
He blanked the Huskies, and the Cardinals do pick up a little more offense. They've put 4 across. Tyler Brick and Avery Lehman both going 2 for 3. A double and 2 RBI for Brick. Olsen drove in a run as well, as did Lehman. Jake Dumovic was 1 for 3 with a run scored. And today, the pitching did just fine. We don't know the details on this one, but the pitching evidently threw up another shutout. That's 3 straight shutouts, and the offense apparently blew up against the Irondale Knights.
It really did.
When Howie told me that as I got in, and that was his chore for the show. His contribution was getting today's 2 scores as I put together the entire rest of the week, but we're not right. But I thought you were kidding when you said 17.
17-0. Absolutely. Nice output of offense.
Absolutely. And we hope they can continue it. They are at Hopkins on Wednesday, and then they host Osseo on Thursday. And Howie?
We'll be there. Well, the softball team had a long time between games, going to a full week before hosting Henry Sibley for a night game at Al Flynn Park on Friday evening. It was a long time for a team trying to build off its first win of the season. The Cardinals facing another non-conference opponent they didn't know much about, and hoping they start a win streak. Warriors charging out of the gates in this one, already up 4 with the bases loaded and nobody out in the 3rd. Pilar Garcia with a little bloop single just out of the reach of Hansen. Emma Vega Martinez scores from 3rd. Everybody's safe on the play. Still in the 3rd, Garcia now standing at 3rd with 1 out. Kaylee Parteka puts it in nearly the exact same place. Garcia comes home, makes it a 7-0 lead. Cardinals finally respond in the bottom of the 5th, 2 on, 2 out. Abby Graham finds some room for a base knock. Bailey Brown scores. That's all they get in the inning. Desperation time in the 7th. Runners at the corners with 1 out. Care grounds to the pitcher. She tries to pick off the runner at 3rd, but Cameron Schmoser alertly heads home and slides safely at 7-3. Cardinals down to their final out. Mackenzie Wilkins grounds to 3rd, but the throw is airmailed over 1st. Graham and Kennedy Care score, makes it 7-5. That's as close as it would get. Cardinals drop another close contest.
Yeah, disappointing that the offense took so long to get going.
Yeah, it really
Obviously, it came around in the later innings, but when you're in a big hole, kind of hard to dig out of.
No doubt.
Well, a bigger hole happened for the Cardinals in their next outing against Tino Grace. The Eagles fly away with this one pretty easily, 10-0. Just 3 hits in the game for the Cardinals. They used 3 different pitchers. Kayla Thoen got the start, ends up taking the loss, gave up 5 runs. 4 of them earned in her 2 innings of work. And then on Monday, the Cardinals, or on Tuesday, today.
Which is today.
This afternoon.
Yep.
Again, you got your job done. Good job, Shapiro.
9-6 loss, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, another tight loss for the Cardinals. They lose to the Knights 9-6. And they will have Osseo at home on Thursday, and then they're at Blaine on Friday over at Aquator Park. So I believe that's a night game under the lights
you are correct.
at Aquator Park.
Yes.
So some fun on the schedule.
Always. Night games are fun as well.
Well, the schedule is always tight for the boys tennis team, but these past couple have been extremely busy. Following their trip to Duluth to see some of the new section opponents the previous weekend, the Cardinals returned to conference play on Tuesday, traveling to take on one of the perennial powers in the Northwest Suburban, the Elk River Elks. Cardinals have plenty of skill but seem to lack some confidence when facing the elite conference and section teams. Aaron Bauer at first singles for the Cardinals. Great job controlling this point. Those were few and far between. Elk River's Zeke Delane wins 6-1, 6-love. Drew Grimmer in the far court at second singles. Tyler Creeman gets a little help from the tape. Grimmer able to recover. Creelman misses wide, but Creelman wins 6-2, 7-5. Alex Fish serving at third singles for Coon Rapids. Stays strong on his forehand. Then fakes it and cuts back across the green for the point. But he loses this one 1-6, 2-6. Fourth singles, Gavin Heyman of Maple Grove serving to Nate Bai. Gets good position, stays patient until Heyman mishits into the net. But Bai loses in straight sets as well, 2-6, 0-6. Stephen Yang serving for the Cardinals at first doubles. Mike Fredrickson makes quick work of the return at the net. One of the closer matches, but the Elks prevail 6-4, 6-3. Good power on the serve by Moa at second doubles. He's going to take over the point at the end with some rapid fire back and forth at the net. Moa gets the winner on the far side, but the Cardinals lose this one 1-6, 1-6. Finally, Adam Boyum and Jared Musolf at third doubles, and they can't help the team avoid a sweep. They go down 1-6, 3-6. Elks stampede past the Cardinals 7-0.
Yeah, tough loss for him, obviously, against one of the powerhouses in this section. No question.
And one of the things that Coach Storick put on the team page was, kind of talking about the team's abilities, but their confidence when facing these tougher teams. And we've talked about it time and time again, how much of the game is between the ears. With
no question, and they're able to kind of tinker with their lineup and try and find that right combination. They changed it up in the game that we did against Andover a little bit. Well, the Cardinals were really looking for a bounce-back game when they returned to action on Friday, hosting a more manageable opponent from Andover. There's not so much season left, so the Cardinals really have to make sure they're on top of their game and winning the matches they're supposed to win. That's exactly what they did against the Huskies. As we said, the CTN crew was on hand for this one, and we were treated to a fun one. Senior Stephen Yang's first singles match of the season. He looked really good against Andover's Trevor Siebold. Yang really used the court well and controlled the play, especially early in the first set. Unfortunately, he couldn't keep the momentum early on and loses in the third set, 6-4, 3-6, 3-6. Aaron Bauer switching spots with Yang and teaming up with Mike Fredrickson at first doubles, and they really controlled this match from start to finish. Never really giving the Huskies much hope of a comeback. Bauer and Fredrickson win this one easily, 6-1, 6-1. Cardinals make it look pretty easy as they take the 5-2 victory over the Huskies for the win on their home court.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. We've seen year after year, I mean, as you mentioned, they do have the ability to tinker with their lineup, but we've seen a lot of times where Coach Storick has players playing singles all season long, come individual section tournament time, and he puts a different pair together, and that could be what we're seeing with Fredrickson and Bauer, and boy, were they impressive.
They were, and with a little deeper squad, he can do some of those things.
Yeah. Tennis team in a doubles tournament over the weekend, and they come up big. They win all 3 of their matches, 5-0 against Rogers, 5-0 over Park Center, and then 4-1 over Spring Lake Park. That boosts their record of 13-5 on the season. And just looking at that, I mean, obviously, they gave up 1 of 15 matches. Pretty impressive when you have a doubles lineup like that.
No question, and 13-5, very impressive record at this point in the season as well.
They have a crossover game on Thursday. The opponent's still to be decided against one of the teams from the other part of the conference. Most likely Irondale or Totino, but we'll know for sure next week. They are at Cambridge Isani next Wednesday, so that's their only event of the week is on Thursday.
All right.
Just one event for the track and field team this past week with a dual meet against Champlain Park on Tuesday. Cardinals have already shown some impressive improvements over the first few weeks of the season, and they were looking to see that continue in the head-to-head battle with the Rebels. Only a few highlights to show you, starting with some distance running. Both boys and girls are showing their distance teams are among the best around. Brina Del Castillo sets the pace in the 1,600 meter, finishing her mile in 5:51. Flying Clark sisters took care of the Cardinals in the high jump, finishing 1-2. Brielle finished first, going 4'10". Brianna right behind at 4'8". Finally, for the girls, Callie Harris with a time of 46.85 in the 300-meter hurdles. Girls win the day 67-66, very close. Moving over to the boys, and again starting with the 1,600 meter, Joe Coughlin wins the race, breaking 5 minutes, but takes second with 4:59. Josh Tabla earns the team a first place finish in the 300 meter hurdles in 46:14. Boys, a little more convincing victory at 79-67. And here are some of the other impressive finishes for the team. First place finishes for both 4x8 and 4x2. 9:21 and 1:42 their times respectively. We just saw Josh Tabla winning the 300 meter. Sela won the 200 meter dash. Paul Breitbach won the 3,200 meter. And Tanner won the pole vault, first place, 11 foot. On the girl side, it's kind of hard when you look at how we get the results, you can understand. Some of the finishes, Callie Harris, no surprise, winning both hurdle events. Brina Del Castillo, as you saw, with the first place finish in the 1,600 meter. Brielle Clark in the high jump, and the 4x2 and 4x800 meter relay teams also won for the Cardinals.
Nice couple of victories for Coon Rapids. I'd like to see that.
They are actually over at Blaine today, taking advantage of another nice weather day. We'll have those results for you next week. Big event, though, coming up next week with the 5AA True Team section meet a week from, well, today as we air this, but throughout the week. It's next Tuesday. That would be on the 10th.
That would be the 10th, correct?
That would be the 10th.
Yes.
Where are we at? Boys golf. Moving along. Boys golf. At Rush Creek, this was also last week on Tuesday. Cardinals finished in 12th place with a score of 348, but look at how close it was. A tie just ahead of them at 347. And actually, I think they could have moved up 5 spots by shaving 6 swings. There are your 4 scorers. Mike Elson with an 81, Tyler Hess with an 82, Peyton Nash with a 92, and Tyler Getz with a 93.
Well, the Cardinals were back on the course Monday, meeting up with their Northwest suburban opponents at the Golden Valley Country Club. It proved to be one of the toughest courses on the schedule, with most every team in the conference putting up their worst score of the season. Very tough test for some of the young Cardinals, as a couple of guys in the lineup were getting their first taste of varsity play. You certainly couldn't blame the weather. Absolutely perfect round of golf on Monday. Travis Hess leading the way for the Cardinals, and after some troubles on the front nine, Hess able to post a 38 on the way in to finish the day with an 82. Michael Elson still looking for the form he had in week 1, hasn't been able to get his scores quite as low since. He was consistent, though, a 43 and a 47 to walk into the clubhouse with an even 90. Tyler Getz had a really rough start to the round at Golden Valley, shooting a 52 on the front half, but he's much better on the way back, posting a 39 on the second nine, 91 for the day. Almost there. Cam Lawson is going to get his first shot to golf with the varsity squad. May not be the exact score he wanted, but he put up an exact score on both halves, chalking up the scoreboard with a 104. Noble Rainville, not quite that consistent, but his conference scores have only varied by 5 strokes over the 3 events. Rainville shot a 107 at Golden Valley, put that one in the hole. And finally, Andrew Pearson, with his first varsity round, he posts a 106. The Cardinals are going to finish 12th with a score of 367 for the day.
Yeah, and the top two, Elson and Hess, putting up great scores
Yep.
week after week. But as you mentioned, Elson had a great round week 1. And hasn't been able to get the score quite that low. But looking at the scores across the conference, almost every team's scores have gone up at each different event. So playing a little bit tougher courses definitely factors into that. The Cardinals and their Northwest Suburban Conference opponents at Loggers Trail on Wednesday of this week. They are at Majestic Oaks next Wednesday. Girls golf team, now typically they play 9-hole events.
Correct.
Head-to-head with their conference, one-on-one against their conference opponents. This past week, they had not one, not two, but 3 18-hole rounds. So they've been busy. And the scores, not too terrible. The girls playing some very tough courses as well. Elk River is known for having elevated greens and very small greens. The Cardinals put up a 468 to finish 16th in the Elk River Invitational. Ellen Carver leading the way with a 106. Lexi Herman behind her with a 115. Allie McDonald a 120. Rachel Bissett a 127. And Tori Wenzel a 144. Then on Friday, they were at Majestic Oaks for the mid-season Northwest Suburban Conference Tournament. And they put up a 495 to finish in 14th place. Ellie Carver, a 104. Rachel Bissett, a 127. Lockett in a 132. Same with McDonald, and Wenzel finished with a 141. Then on Monday, Cardinals at Purple Hawk up in Cambridge finished with a 448. Allie McDonald, a team low 108. She's a first-year golfer.
Wow, very cool.
Just really starting to figure out, according to Coach Keeney, just starting to figure out how to better manage the course, and that's showing in the scores. A real student of the game, says he just loves the game, is really trying to figure it out, and the girls love having her around. Wynn, who had not played in the last couple of events, put up a 112. Ellie Carver, a 113. Bissett, a 115. Lockett in a 121, and Lexi Herman rounds out the group with a 130. But congratulations, to be certain, to Allie McDonald on that round.
No question.
Cardinals will take on Elk River on Thursday. They are at the Gem of Bunker Hills, but Elk River, a very tough team year after year. They will host Centennial next Tuesday.
Well, the boys lacrosse team had a week off to work on things and think about how to turn their season around after an 0-3 start. The Cardinals traveled to Maple Grove last Wednesday, hoping they would find a little more offense against a seemingly vulnerable opponent. Crimson were 1-2, and they had just lost 12-2 to Chanhassen, but they weren't vulnerable, just the opposite. They were hungry. Maple Grove up 3-0, trying to run away in the first. Tom Walden speeds down the left side, shoots the far side, upper corner. Boyer denies it with a stick save. But the Crimson just keep putting the pressure on. They find the crack. Strong shot from up top by Jack Dugan. He sneaks past Boyer to make it 5-0. Coon Rapids finally able to respond on the other end. Good work by Ron Hepner to sweep this one back to Cody Kovalenko. He knows how to finish, splits a couple of defenders, runs in on the short angle, gets out front to score. Unfortunately, it was the visiting team's only celebration of the night. Crimson just won't share the ball. They possess well, they pass well, they can finish. Dugan again firing to the net. Maple Grove up 8-1 at the half. They continue to push in the third quarter. Walden's strong shot from the right side angle made it a 10-1 lead. They were up 12-1 after 3, coasting to a 14-1 win.
Yeah, and on Saturday, the Cardinals traveled north to take on Duluth. They lose 12-6 in that one. But Howie, talking to Coach Justin Sampaga-Arisi,
yep.
He said they played better in the second half, and he had hoped they had turned a corner.
No doubt about it. He said after that, especially after that first quarter, they felt they started to play as a team a little more than individual efforts trying to score goals.
Well, the Cardinals started this week hoping they could turn some other things around, and they had a perfect opportunity when they welcomed Irondale to the complex on Monday night. Knights came into the game at 0-6, and we're looking at the Cardinals the same way. Both teams came in needing a win and feeling like this was their chance to break the streak and finally get off the schneid. Coon Rapids starts the scoring early on. Alex Brovik with a good fake and then finds some space, fires it to the upper corner. Cardinals on the board a little more than 2 minutes in. Irondale led 2-1 after 1, and they opened it up in the second. Parker Freiberg, great feed to Matt Brooks in the middle for the finish. Knights able to stretch the lead before the half. Joe Frischman finds Ryan Souls down low for the goal. Irondale up 8-3 going to the break. But the Cardinals don't hang their heads. They battle right back. Freshman Tate Birmingham battling his way in from the corner to make it a one-goal game. And right off the ensuing draw, He gets it back and scores again to even it up at 9. Great feed from Miguel Ganoza. Unfortunately, in the fourth quarter, the Knights would run away with it. They take the momentum out, scoring the Cardinals 4-2 in the final frame and dropping them to 0-6 with a 13-11 win.
Tough loss for them because they had that opportunity. The momentum was cleared on that side. Unfortunately, they just couldn't finish it off because they were close to a victory.
Well, and it's something that we've seen from them in the couple of games that we've done.
Yep.
It's something we've talked about in a number of different Cardinal sports. It's all about consistency.
No doubt.
Against Centennial, they were down big. They came back and made it a game. At least they were back and forth with the Cougars in the second half. Here, they fall behind by 5. They come back with a dominant third quarter, tie the game, but then they can't finish in the fourth.
That's unfortunate.
They look like completely different teams between the third and fourth. The Cardinals at Spring Lake Park on Wednesday. They host Osseo Park Center next Monday.
Well, the girls lacrosse team had just one game last week, and the mission seems simple: keep the streak intact. But nothing's ever easy in the Northwest Suburban. The Cardinals were flying high on a 4-game win streak since dropping the opener to Champlain Park. At the same time, the Crimson came into Wednesday's game undefeated at 3-0, scoring better than 14 goals a game. The only sure thing, this would be a battle to the end. Coon Rapids starts things right. In a cold, rainy night, Allie Misquick long run to the middle, skips it through the wickets to put the Cardinals on the board first. Hoping to stretch a lead early, Helen Nelson with a nifty move to elude 2 defenders, and then scores one of her 4 in the game, 3-1 Cardinals. But 2 is as big as the lead would ever get. Lily Hackett off the free position gets in close, switches to the backhand, shovels it past the keeper, 4-2 Coon Rapids. Hackett had 2 goals, 2 assists. Crimson roll right back. Passes didn't click, but the Cardinal defender overruns it. Haley Herdeen able to scoop it and score, tied the game at 4. It was knotted at 5 at the break. Cardinals flying into the second. Hackett with a sweet drop pass. Nelson spins and scores. Coon Rapids back in front, 7-6. Maple Grove able to answer every time. Lauren Coffin runs this right to the middle. Someone misses the assignment. She's got space in close and evens the score again at 7. Same score into the final minute. Cardinals had not trailed all game, but Coffin finds Paige Casibo streaking to the open grass in the middle. That spells trouble. She goes low for the goal, and Maple Grove is a bit of a shocker. Hands the Cardinals their second conference loss of the season, an 8-7 score.
Yeah, tough one. They led or were tied all but the final 45 seconds of the game, and they have to come away a loss, and that kind of means not much chance at a conference title.
Unfortunately.
Well, the Cardinals had to wait until Monday to see if they could bounce back from that loss to Maple Grove. They traveled to Irondale to take on the scrappy Knights team that was coming off back-to-back wins over Centennial and Elk River. They had a lot of confidence and momentum. It would give the Cardinals all they could handle. Knights charge out of the gates in this one off the free possession. Danielle Frankie to Emily Manning for the goal. Irondale up by 4 at that point. They had a 7-4 lead at the half. Different story in the second. Cardinals come out flying. Lily Hackett drives deep, feeds it back out front. Callie Turner takes it to where she can score. That cut the lead to 8-6. Once the wheels were turning, they're hard to stop. Jordan Keller drawing the defense, finding Helen Nelson cutting to the net, one of her 3 in the game. Lily Hackett leading the charge again. Great little backhand dish. Kayla Ross is going to turn and score. That tied the game at 8. And they weren't done. Keller carrying behind the net, and the defense, whoopsie, might want to pick her up on the other side. They didn't. She scores, and that turned out to be the game winners. Cardinals outscore the Knights 5-1 in the second half to get the 9-8 win.
Nice win.
Absolutely. They are hosting Spring Lake Park on Wednesday. They are at Osseo Park Center on Monday. Howie Shapiro. And
that'll do it.
All we've got for this jam-packed edition of Sports Night. We have baseball coming up for you on Thursday. Girls lacrosse at Osseo on Monday. And then a little more baseball under the lights against New Prague on Friday the 13th. That's going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Mr. Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young saying good night.